Thanks for watching. I'm Prerna Agarwal, Technical Product Owner for The Guardian. Today we'll be giving you Guardian updates of Sprint 39 that lasted from May 15 to May 26th. So just a quick overview of the agenda. We'll be looking at the roadmap. We'll also be talking about the issues that we tackled in Sprint 39. We'll be flipping over and giving you a short demo on Sprint 39. Then we'll be also looking ahead of week of May 29th, which is Sprint 40. We'll also be looking at the issues that we'll be working on Sprint 40. We'll be talking about the upcoming releases. We'll also be giving you some of the ways that you can either submit bugs, policy requests through various different channels. So just a quick overview of the Guardian roadmap. Again, this is open source. Anybody can see that. All you need to do is install ZenHub extension in Chrome. And when you travel to the Guardian GitHub repo, you will be able to see a tab to quickly open that up and see what's going on there. So as you can see, we are continuing our work on integrate with external Guardian policies as data sources. We were working on the enhancing or improving the policy creation for the community or for the developers, for the policy developers to create the policies in a more easier way, and so on and so forth. Just a quick overview of what we have covered in Sprint 29. So in Sprint 29, we committed to 46 story points and we delivered 41 story points. In these story points, we covered 1975. We have integrated Nest.js. 1687 re-engineering policy creation flow. We have actually implemented a policy wizard to token ID created from managed Guardian service published with UUID. 2075 integrate with external Guardian policies as data sources. And we have also fixed some of the bugs, which is 2133, 2147 and 2149. Now looking at Sprint 39 demo. So the first ticket what we'll be looking at is 1687, which is re-engineering policy creation flow. Existing policy design and creation process in Guardian presents a challenge for practical use, which is Guardian provides no guardians for policy authors who are required to proceed by trial and error, which is time consuming. And majority of policies have the same structure. They are like one of the built-in policies with only minor differences. At present, users have to resort to copy paste or export or import actions to quickly create similar policies for different users or use cases. So in order to solve this, we have created a policy wizard. So let's go to the Guardian. So now as you can see in the Guardian UI, we have created a new button as policy wizard. So when I click on this, as you can see a pop-up where you have a 4-step process to create a policy, which is policy description, policy roles, policy schemas, and trust chain. So in each of the step, we'll be defining a policy. So in the policy description, you need to add a policy name. I would just add a test policy. Then I can just either keep the tag same or you can also edit it. I would keep it same. Then I would just as a test topic as a description. And then all these are optional, so you can just leave it or you can just add it. So once I add it, I click on next. Then here I can create the roles, what all roles will be involved in the policy. So by default, you will have the owner. You can also have a registrant. So I would just add a registrant name and then I can click on plus sign, which will create a new role for this. So for now, I will just have 2 roles for the policy. Then I click on next. So the third step would be to select the schemas, what all schemas you would need in the policy. So for that, you need to create all the schemas, going to the schemas tab and then creating it. Once you create it, you will get all the schemas in the drop down. So as you can see, I have some of the schemas being listed here because I have that in the schemas tab. So for now, I will be just selecting issue request and faculty and device registration, 2 schemas. Once it is selected, I can click on next. The other easiest way for selecting the schema is you can just add a delimiter as comma and then you can add your schema, which will be added instead of adding and selecting in the drop down. Now once I click on next, so for now what I will do is, as I have selected two schemas, I have to actually do the configuration for each of that, which users will be able to view this particular schema, what would be the produced schema. So now if you need more information of how the produced schema would be, I would just click on this eye symbol, which is a tooltip, And here you can see you have a short video of what that means. So basically, as you have that create button, so this would nothing but be the schema which you get produced when you click on select. Now, I would just say this particular schema would be visible to the owner, and then this particular would be issue request, and then the relation schema would be faculty and device. Also the initial roles, like this particular schema would be for the initial role, so I would just select as a registrant. And then if you need a approve or a reject functionality for this particular schema, you can also do that. And if you need more information, you can click on I would say yes. Would this schema be mint tokens? Yes or no, whatever you feel like. Then I would click on OK. Next. Then do we need an approver for the owner? Is it the creator? I would say yes. Then I would say next. The same configuration you need to do on the second schema which you selected. I would just continue and with the same process over here. Once I do all the configuration, I would just click on next. So once that is done, you will have the last step as trust chain. In the trust chain, you can just select which user will be able to view the trust chain. I would say owner. Then once I select owner as a role, I have to configure the owner configuration. I would say minting schema, then view only your own VPs. So once all the steps are done, I would click on create. You get a safe process. The safe process is if you want to recover this policy in the near future, when you click on policy visit, you can just click on OK, which will save your policy. It just takes time, a few seconds or minutes to just create your policy, as it will be saving in your database. It will be creating a topic for your particular created policy. It will also be publishing all your relevant schemas which you have chosen. It just takes few minutes to complete the process. So now as you can see, once the process is completed, you can see a new policy is created as test policy. You have a hedera topic ID and then it's not yet published. So in order to see what exactly the policy looks like, you can just click on the edit button and it will take you to the policy configurator. As you can see, we have all the things what we have configured. You can even edit here, or you also have a visit here again. If you want to just edit this policy, you can do that. Or if you want to create a new policy, you can just click on new policy and then you can complete or edit the existing policy. So that's a quick demo on policy visit. To get more information on the policy visit, we have added all our documentation in detail with the UI and the APIs. So when you just visit docs.hedera.com, guardian/standard registry, under standards registry, you have a policy and then a policy visit. So when you click on demo on policy visit, the demo which I have just given you guys right now is been detailed over here in the policy in our docs. You also have all the APIs related to the policy visit been listed out in the documentation. So feel free to let us know if you have any questions or concerns on the policy visit. So the next ticket what we'll be looking at is 1658, which is integrate with external Guardian policy as data sources. Executing Guardian policy workflow results in production of artifacts, namely VCs and VPs, and ultimately minted tokens. Each of these artifacts is currently populated with relevant information as directed by the active policy. Projects should have the ability to enrich the data in these documents with external information relevant to the specific project use cases. So in ticket 1555, we covered the basic data enrichment functionality. However, there is also a need of creating functioning integrations to be existing out of the box, which users of Guardian could easily insert into their policies. to get and detailed on this particular ticket, what we have done is we have created a two functionality policies, which is 16 IREC 10 source and IREC 10 recipient, and these policies are present in our open source Guardian GitHub repo. So when you get there, if you just go to methodology library, under that we have an IREC folder. In IREC folder, you have these two policies. So we'll be testing these two policies in this. The IREC 10 source actually have registrant application review, device registration, device review, and then the create issue request. So then after that, when you just go to IREC 10 recipient, it will be continuing. You will be first following the first few steps, and then when you enter the topic ID of IREC 10, it will load all the issue requests being submitted by your source, and then it will create a trust chain. Let's look at it by importing these two policies. So once we import the two policies, which is source and recipient, we would like to publish both the policies. So we'll first publish the source policy. Once it is published, then we'll be running the whole policy process. So once this is published, let's run the IREC 10 process. So I would log out from the standard registry. I would log in as a registrant. And then I go to the policy tab. Here, as you can see, we have IREC 10 source. I would just go here. I would assign the role as a registrant. So when that is done, I need to fill the registrant application. I would just choose a date. As all the fields are optional, I would leave it for now and then create it for the testing purpose. Once the application is submitted, it actually waits for the approval from the standard registry. Now we log in back to the standard registry, and then we approve the application from the registrant. Now I go back, I click on registrant, I create a new device, which is my next step in the policy. I create a new device. So as these all are optional, I would leave it for now. I would just add the device name just for the identity. It waits for the approval. So I would log in back to the standard registry, and then I would approve the device created by the registrant by going to the devices tab. I click on approve. So once it is approved by the standard registry, I again log in back to the registrant and create a issue request. I go to the issue request. I create an issue request. So here in the issue request, you have 3 fields to be mandatory. So which I will just go ahead and fill it, which is a start date. I would say 15th June. I would just enter 12 for now. And then I would enter the end date as 17th and then create a issue request. To get a confirmation, you can also look back to the issue request and check if the issue request is already created. Then I just log out and I click on standard registry. I go back to the policy tab, and here you can see that the issue request has been created under the issue request. Now, initially, the IREC policy will create a trust chain, but here, as you can see, we don't have a trust chain in this policy. So in order to do that, like we need to integrate and we need to link source and recipient, as I said. So first of all, I would like to publish recipient policy. I would give the version as 1.2.3. Once the policy recipient is published, then we would actually link the issue request created by the source policy with the recipient policy, which will actually create a trust chain in the recipient policy. So now, as you can see, the recipient policy has been published. I would log in as a registrant. Here in the registrant, I would go and initialize my role as a registrant. I would submit the application again. Once it is submitted, it will wait for the approval from the standard registry. I will log in back to the standard registry and approve the registrant policy. I approve it. So once that is approved, I will log in back as a registrant and open the recipient policy. Now, as you can see, we have a new tab called external topic. So here in the external topic, what I would be doing is I'll be copy pasting the topic ID of the source. I would go back to the source and I'll copy paste this topic ID as an external topic in the recipient section. So I pasted the topic ID. I click on next. So it just gives a few minutes to search the details. So as you can see, the details of the source topic ID is being retrieved. And if you just look at it and confirm, you can click on next. Now, as you can see, you have all the schemas been populated from the source policy. To verify all this, you need to click on verify all. It's not necessary that all the schemas get verified. Even if there is only one schema or one or more schemas are verified, you can just select all the verified schemas. So as you can see, only one of my schema is verified. I would select this and I will click on verify and finish. Now you can see the issue request which was created from the source file, you can see here without you being creating in the recipient policy. Now, this particular issue request is waiting for the approval from the standard registry. So I would just log out and log in back as a standard registry, and then I will approve the issue request which was created by source policy in the recipient policy. I would go to the issue request. I will approve. So once my issue request has been approved, now you can go to token history. As you can see, the tokens are minted. You can also check the trust chain been built from the recipient policy. So this is a linking policies, which is called the policy chain. So to get more information of what we have done, you can reach out and look at docs.hedera.com/guardian/standard registry. Under that, you have an external topic block. So basically, we have created a new block in the policy configurator to chain the policies and link their topics with one another. So that is our demo to be shown for linking of the policy. Now let's talk about some of the issues that we'll be tackling in Sprint 40. So in Sprint 40, we are committing currently to 46 story points, which involves some of the documentation, which is 2209, and then 2021, which is we are adding the ability to see schema version, which is a UI element. Then we are also working on some of the automation for Swagger API. We'll be enhancing the policy creation more by 1686. And we'll be tackling some of the issues which will be 2214, 2215, 2097, and so on. So talking about the releases, our last release was on Friday, April 28, 2023. Our next release will be on Wednesday, May 31st, 2023. So there are multiple ways to reach out to us. You can reach out to us on GitHub. You can submit policy requests, enhancements, or if you find some bugs, please go ahead and mention those bugs with us so that we can get our team on it. Also, if you haven't joined our Discord, come and join our conversation at hedera.com/Discord. And when you get there, search for Sustainability Channel, or feel free to reach out to us directly if you have any policy requests by emailing us at info@hedera.com or through our website, which is www.envisionblockchain.com. Thank you. Have a great day.